with great enthusiasm that we announced tonight that Coach Wells is going to be joining us as our head football coach, and I couldn't be more excited about that as we work through our process over the past number of days. He became our focus and our candidate. And when you meet Coach Wells, I look forward to the Red Raider Nation and this community meeting him on Saturday. They're going to be just as excited as I am. You'll see a head coach that has a ton of energy, is going to be very consistent, is going to bring great discipline to this program. The first thing he told me is, Kirby, Texas Tech is not a rebuild. Texas Tech is in a reload position. And it's a program that has great things ahead of it, and it would be a perfect fit for me to come to Lubbock, Texas, and to lead this football program. I had the same feeling after I met with Coach Wells as I did after I met with Coach Tadlock and Coach Beard. When I walked away from that meeting, I had that same type of feeling. This is a gentleman who knows what he's doing, that is going to serve as a head coach and be a great leader for this program. I'm excited that he's got his offensive and defensive coordinators coming with him. Coach Patterson, Coach Yost are two men that are very respected in this industry and profession, and they're going to be great coordinators for us on this staff. Had a chance to visit with our team earlier this evening. They look forward to meeting Coach Wells and both coordinators tomorrow. So they'll have a chance for the first time to meet them in a team meeting session, and then they'll have an offensive and defensive breakout opportunities just to get to know the coaches a little better, the type of system that they're going to run. A number of the guys, when I announced the coordinators, had been recruited by Coach Patterson or Coach Yost. So they were excited, and so there's some, they're familiar there with some of these guys. So it's an exciting time for Texas Tech. Look forward to Coach Wells and his family and the coordinators arriving tomorrow afternoon and joining our Texas Tech Red Raider family.
How long was that initial meeting between you and Coach Wells?
We had a number of phone conversations, numerous phone conversations, and then Monday night had a chance to sit down with him, President Skuvanik and I, and Tony Hernandez from our staff. Spent probably 4.5 hours with him in Salt Lake City.
When did he first come onto your radar, Kirby?
Don, I have followed Coach Wells for years. His career, he's one of the most respected men in this profession. You know, as I talk to my colleagues throughout the country, as I talk to assistant football coaches, head football coaches, as I talk to commissioners, I tell you, his reputation, he is impeccable. The way that he's thought of by people around the country. And I would tell people, it sounds too good to be true. There's got to be a negative with Coach Wells, and nobody could say a negative word about him. And he's going to bring great leadership. When you listen about his philosophy, he talks about how he's going to coach these players hard, but he's going to love these players hard too. And it's a formula and a process that I'm excited for our young men to be exposed to and to improve under.
Kirby, what else was it about Coach Wells that really separated him from the other candidates that you guys were talking to?
Yeah, you know, I think fit is always something that is important. He's going to be a great fit in West Texas. He looks forward to making this his home. Jen, his wife, is excited about moving to Lubbock. He's got 3 children, 2 daughters, age 16 and 13, and a young son that's 8 years old. So they look forward to getting here tomorrow. But, you know, it is his journey. His journey of what he has experienced, both positively and negatively, and what he's learned from his journey that has made him the head coach that he is today. And the lesson that you got to put great people around you to have great success and to elevate this football program. So just the whole package from A to Z, and attitude and energy and focus and drive. And again, I think we'll see a consistency and a disciplined approach from Coach Wells.
Kirby, you talk about that gut feeling you have when you meet with him, had it with Beard and Tadlock. What is it? If you had to put your thumb on it, that you walk away going, okay, this is the hire. What is it? Boy,
if I could bottle that, I could sell it to a lot of programs around the country. But you know, it's a confidence, it's a presence, and it's a focus on. I have a plan. I have a plan that I believe in. I have a plan that has proven to be successful, and it's going to be successful at the next level. It's going to be successful at Texas Tech. So I think all of those things, combined together just gives you that feeling, and also how each of those three individuals are respected nationally. I mean, all of them are so respected by their peers for the work that they've done and who they've surrounded themselves with.
How many candidates did you formally interview?
Oh, we had let me say this. I mean, we talked to a lot of people, and as there were numerous phone calls, and when you get in a process like this, like I said Wednesday, there's a confidentiality piece to it that I'm not going to say names and who we talked to and who we didn't talk to, because these are all men that have had a lot of success and have good jobs, and there was a lot of interest in this job. This is a good job when you talk about the resources, the facilities, and most importantly, the young men that are in this locker room. People know that, again, I'm going to quote Coach Wells, it's not a rebuild, it's a reload.
Kirby, a follow-up to that. Obviously, you're not going to name names, but how many candidates did you talk to face to face with the belief that this could be the next head coach at Texas Tech?
We had 3 face-to-face meetings with candidates, and again, talked to numerous folks on the phone to some degree, some level, that were interested in this job.
And how would you answer the concern that while Coach Wells has had 3 winning seasons of 9 or more victories, he's also had the 3 consecutive losing seasons, which has led to a lot of discontent with this hire?
Yeah, the thing that impressed me the most, one of the things that impressed me about Coach Wells were the lessons that he learned during those times of adversity, and what he learned about himself and his coaching style and his philosophy that has enabled him to rebuild that program. So 6 years sitting in the head coaching chair, 2 10-win seasons, 5 bowl games in 6 seasons. But yeah, there were a stretch in there that he learned some lessons that have made him a stronger head coach.
Kirby, were you surprised just from your initial meeting at how well it went? And was that the first time that you had sat down with him face to face?
I'm going to take you back to 1992, and I'll take you to Logan, Utah. The Kansas State Wildcats played Utah State, and I was on one sideline and Coach Wells was on the other sideline. So I'm sure if we didn't come into bodily contact that day, I don't think we did. I'm sure we shook hands after that football game. But followed his career, have talked to people throughout the years about Coach Wells and who he is as a person, who he is as a coach, and that first conversation that we had on Sunday afternoon couldn't have gone any better. Set the bar really high.
What about recruiting? As a recruiter, how is Wells and his staff, and do they have any Texas ties?
He is putting together a staff that has tremendous Texas ties. He understands the state of Texas, how important Texas high school football is, how important it is to have men on this staff that know Texas high school football and has those relationships. He's recruited the state of Texas. He actually told me this afternoon that he's been getting text messages from high school coaches around the state congratulating him and welcoming him to the state. So that's important. That's obvious, and he's aware of it, and addressing that as he puts together his team.
How many coaches did you talk to after you, possible replacements, did you talk to after you met with Coach Wells?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
But you had that feeling when you were done with him that this is your guy, right? Pretty much. Or?
Well, I was really positive, but there are so many moving pieces when you get into a search, and these things can take many turns, and you just have to be prepared that at any situation that you've got to be able to go in a different direction. But I will say that I couldn't be more excited about the man that's coming to lead this football program, and he's going to do great things here.
Kirby, when you go through this process, you obviously probably talk to a lot of student athletes, whether former of Wells or even here. Can you talk about maybe how many athletes you talked about, whether former Utah State under Wells, or whether here and what those conversations were like?
Yeah, again, there hasn't been a less than positive comment made by anybody that I've talked to, and I've talked to so many people about Coach Wells. And when you go through a process like this and you talk about the fit or what stood out, it's been my approach that when you find that right person and you know that individual has the leadership skills to come and elevate this program and wants to be here and would be a good fit for this community and is going to be a positive influence on that locker room with these group of men, you expedite it as quickly as you can. And so I talked to a lot of people about his leadership style, his head coaching abilities, and again, nothing but positive words, and look forward to y'all meeting him on Saturday.
What was the message to the team whenever you met with them earlier?
I shared with the team on Sunday that I would do my very best that they would hear any information and news from me. That we live in a world where social media exists, and there's not for many of y'all, but there are things that get out on social media that are just not accurate, and to be careful what they read and what they let soak in. And I said, if it doesn't come from me, then don't hold it as accurate. And when there's something to talk about, I'll bring it to you. In the meantime, if you have any questions, if you have concerns, if you have things that you've read that you want to talk to me about, I've got an open door. And so in that spirit, I shared with them the news about Coach Wells. The coordinators talked about their philosophies, what to expect on offense, defense, and our schedule tomorrow that Coach Wells, his family, the coordinators are coming in. We're going to have a team meeting at 5 o'clock, and then they'll have a chance to break out offense and defense before anybody heads out for the weekend. And then obviously next week is an important recruiting week. So Coach Wells, Coach Patterson, Coach Yost, if he has other members of his staff, they'll get on the road, and I'm sure they'll go see all of the verbals that we have and do all we can to solidify the class that's in front of us.
Speaking of other members of the staff, Clay with his connections with Yost, spending time with him at Washington State, is there a possibility of anybody else, including him, staying on?
I think Coach Wells has strong interest in talking to as many of the guys on staff that want to stay. He's got great respect for them. You mentioned Clay, but Clay and Coach Yost know each other really well, more than just professionally. I think have great respect for each other. So he will talk to all those guys that have an interest in remaining a Red Raider, and as he looks to build out his staff.
You spoke a moment ago about questions and concerns. One of the questions and concerns is Alan Bowman's future with Texas Tech, and given Coach Yost's resume with working with quarterbacks like Brad Smith and Chase Daniel and Blaine Gabbert and Justin Herbert, to what extent do you think that influences him to stay the course here?
Yeah, I'll share this. I had a chance to sit down with Alan Bowman this week, and I couldn't be more impressed with that young man and his desire to be a Red Raider, to be one of the greats that have played that position here is strong. We're fortunate to have a young man like Alan Bowman on this campus, and I tell you, I couldn't be prouder. I told his dad, if I'm half as successful as he is in raising my two boys, I will consider myself successful, because that young man is a great leader. And Coach Yost actually recruited him. Alan shared with me tonight at Oregon. So I look forward to Alan meeting Coach Yost and Coach Wells tomorrow, and Alan's going to be a leader at Texas Tech for a long time.
Can you talk about the length of contract and anything along those lines that in terms of what he'll sign?
Yeah, it's a 6-year contract, and general terms have been agreed to, but all that's still in process. But it'll be a 6-year contract.
And then, do you anticipate increasing the football budget for whether it's staff or additional aides, analysts, things along those lines to help with recruiting?
Yeah, we've made a commitment to increase our assistant coaching budget, and we had a chance to walk through that yesterday. So we've made an increased commitment there, because we're going to make sure we give him like we did Coach Kingsbury. We're going to give him every resource and every tool that we can, that he believes he needs to be successful.
Two more.
Kirby, you mentioned where a lot of people have had positive things to say about him just in different walks of life. This fan base, how do you want them to, how are they going to really accept him as he comes in? What do you want them to see from him?
They're going to see who he is. They're going to see a leader who has a plan, who has a vision, who thoroughly enjoys coaching young men and loves the game of football. And you'll see him very passionately describe what he has in store for the future of Texas Tech football, and I'm confident that the Red Raider Nation's going to be just as excited as I am.
Does anything else, like people concerned that he's too much like who y'all have had the last, like Kingsbury or Leach, and without really knowing the guy, what can you say to them?
Oh, we've had some great coaches here and some better men, and Coach Wells is going to fit that build. He's going to continue to elevate this program and lift it to higher heights and accomplishments, and we got a great man holding the keys to the future of Texas Tech football, and I look forward to y'all meeting him this weekend.